Watch your fingers, Ben. That's the safety meeting. It's on camera. What do you think about the steps, bud? Mint. Look mint? Mint. Benny approval?
Yep.
Wow. It's gonna be a good
They don't
day.
have your approval?
Huh?
They don't have your approval?
Oh, my approval's there, but you're a hard critic, dude.
No.
Your standards are higher than the clouds.
Easy to please.
No, you're not.
Yep.
How come you never smile then?
I do.
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2023. Off camera yesterday, we finished up these stepping stones and the veneers all set as well. Benny, how you living, dude?
Living good, bro.
Living good?
Ready to wrap it up.
So we got the granite caps to put on. I have to measure the width because it's not exactly 6 feet. We have 6-foot treads so that we can cut them and then rock face them to the correct size. So I got to find that measurement and make that cut, do the rock facing, and then we got to cut another one of these 6-footers. I have 3 of them, 2 for the steps and then 1 that I can cut 2 pieces out of, and those will go down the left and the right side, at which point we'll be able to mess with our blue mist pattern stock and build our inner landing. Still a lot of stuff to do, bud. It's all little tedious things. It's like you look at it, it's like, yeah, just slap them down. Nah, don't go like that.
Don't go like that.
It don't work that way. You can never just go slap granite down. And when you do, it takes twice as long to take it up and put it back down. So what seems like a small job or a small task, it's not. That's why this work is so expensive. It's very labor intensive. But that's also why those dude, no freaking way, dude. No, the pananos, dude. Hey, I'll tell you what, we're using the Northeast Interlocking stone veneer pananos today. Bro, it's Friday, man. Give me a break, okay? Benny, what do you think about an 1.25 inch overhang? Give you that extra quarter?
Extra quota.
What do you think? Why don't you put it on 1.25 inch on like the furthest stone?
Right there.
Got it?
Got it.
67 even to the stone, so plus 1.25 inches would be 68.25. 68.25, Ben.
68.25.
68.25. This is the back of the tread. We're gonna want to cut the left side because we want the manufactured rock face on the right side, which is what you'll see as you walk up the stepping stones. And whatever we do for rock facing is going to be on the left side. It'll be a little bit less noticeable in case it's not completely perfect. Sometimes you get a split that just kind of may mess you up a little. You can fix it, you can make it work, but it's really hard to match the rock face that you get from the manufacturer. So the one, that side that is perfect, you always want in the most visible side. 68.25. Right? Right. Set up. We'll see. We'll see. I hope so. That chisel, I don't know if it's dull, if it could be sharpened. I don't know. We'll see. I buffed it.
Did you?
Got all the rust off. Okay, so Time to make our mark. We're not going for anything crazy here, about 1/4 of an inch. You want enough where you can actually have something to chisel off, but not too much where you're just wasting the space there. So here's what I'm using. It's like 1.25 inch forward slanted carbide tip chisel. That's what we're gonna use to rock face. Like I said, I mean, it seems like it's still in really good shape. And I'm not sure how to sharpen these, to be honest. I'm not a big sharpener kind of guy, but maybe one of you guys in the comments knows how to sharpen these things, but it looks decent. I think we'll be all right. It's been a while, Ben, but been a while, Ben. Hey, Ben. Been a while, Ben. So we're gonna pretty much trace our line right here. All right, trace that line just a little. Now we're gonna start from the edge. That didn't go very deep. Oh, that one went really deep. That one not so much. Hey bud, this thing's ready to be flipped.
Just tip it over.
Yeah. Just go up like that on its flat side. Grab it. Flip on its corner. Yep. Oh boy, that seems solid. Never liked that sound, Manny. Oh, that actually worked out pretty good. Thanks for the support, bud.
Wow.
Pretty decent?
That's literally, you can't. Looks like it was store-bought, dude.
Store-bought.
Store-bought.
You've been bought.
Yeah, wait till you can look at this, dude. Not one saw cut is seen.
Really?
Not one spot.
Hey man, I'm proud of it. Next one's gonna break now.
Something like that.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Looks really good. Oh, there's a rock right here. Oh, this is the top one.
Yeah. Yeah, it needs to go to the left more. And then what we also got to do is square it off with that footing, that kick plate board. Okay, that's probably decent. Check it out. I'm gonna do this. Put that at 3 feet. A little more your way.
Maybe even a little bit more.
No, you gotta look at it dead center.
I'm looking at it.
I don't know how much more I can go over there. That's an inch right there. I'll check it out, but I want to see it, make sure we're square on this. That's 36. That's 36. So this is the side that I rock faced. That's how it comes. So I think I matched it up pretty good. Doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you don't do it perfect. Sometimes you absolutely crack the tread and there goes a couple $100. So anyone who does it knows it's a little stressful when you're doing it just because of the money that's involved if you mess it up. But if you can get it done, if you can do it, it saves you money, because if you have to pay for something like that to get customized, you're losing money there too. You know, you're just kind of having to pay somebody else to do it, and then you never know if the timing is going to be just right, or if the measurement's off just a little, it also screws you. But if you can customize it on site, you can take a 6 foot, trim it down to a little bit less than 6 foot to fit your need. That's the best way to go. So now that that's in and it's squared off with the house, we gotta measure and cut our 2 side pieces. So like I showed you, it's 36, but we want a 1/2 inch joint in between this tread and the other one, so that's 35.5, and then we want to keep it about 1/4 of an inch off of the house. So we're looking at 35.25. We want to minus out 3/4 of an inch. 35.25, Benny, that's the measurement.
Don't forget.
I'll forget, that's why I'm telling you.
I already forgot.
Really nice. So I wanted to cut and rock face that bottom step before I did the sides, just because if I were to rock face that and mess it up, I could use that for the side pieces. But thankfully I didn't mess it up and we can use it. So now I'm going to cut that other piece, two pieces at 35.25. Got the 2 pieces cut, and that's just why I buy a 6-footer. You could buy 2 3-footers, but it ends up getting more expensive than just buying a 1 6-footer and then trimming off what you need. That's what's left of it. Got the bottom step. This is the rock faced side. So we're pretty much good for all the caps to start setting them in. Those pattern stock, there might be 1 piece that doesn't need to be cut, but the other 3 out of the 4 is going to need to be cut. Still got some customizing to do, some work to do. But we're going to slap these caps on. Slap the caps, man.
Caps, nice.
Alright, it's all dry laid, meaning it's just placed upon the pad that we poured on the top. And the way that we built the blocks and the footing was all to stay level or very close to level side to side, and then 1/8 of a slope forward. So we're really close to level side to side, which with this step here, or the tread, we can lift the right side up just a hair. We can just pick it up like that and make it level. So you can fix that with mortar. Don't be super concerned about that. So those are all good. We just got to make some mortar and adhere them down. We're using this Ardex X32. It's upside down, I'm sorry about that. Alright, dude, you ready?
Yeah.
Watch your fingers.
Can't, they're underneath.
Got about a 1/2 inch gap between the back pieces.
Dude, I'm money.
Go ahead, push down the back side of it.
Push down.
Yeah, because then it kind of sets it into place. Okay. Your corners lined up good?
Yep.
Okay. Most important thing is the slope. We need an 1/8. That's good. Let's see the side to side. Pretty good. Yeah. So you can see here the way that I lay the mortar out in rows, it all evenly disperses down. There may be gaps in the middle of each row of mortar, but that's not going to hurt anything structurally. We fill the back gap in, we mortar it and seal it off with the same Ardex that we used, but in the front we're going to use type S mortar, which is another reason why we want those gaps, and we don't want enough to where it seeps out the front, because we want to point the front of the step with type S mortar that you're going to see here in a little while. I have got a few comments about that kind of technique on laying the mortar out like that and then setting the treads, but that special Ardex mortar that we use, the X32, it's designed to adhere a piece of granite like that with less mortar. So the strength of that mortar underneath in those rows is going to hold it just fine. And then around all the edges you just seal it up. And we did that with the same mortar in the back, but that type S mortar is what's really going to finish the front off and prevent water from getting behind the stone veneer or under the cap, which again you'll see a little bit later on in this video on how we point the joints. So the three main ways of laying out mortar to adhere a granite cap down that I know about is, one, what I just did right there, the laying out the rows evenly and setting it into place. Some people spread out the mortar and trowel it off to where it's absolutely perfectly level and sloped, so that when you just put the piece of granite down it sits perfect. And then you also have people that lay out the mortar and use like a tile trowel to make grooves. And the only problem with both of those methods is that you have a lot more room for error in your installation. And if you were to use this mortar that we're using, it's very sticky. If you were to try to do that and trowel it all out smooth and make a nice bed of it to lay down your step, it's going to be really hard to work with, and you're going to waste a lot of time, really, is what it's going to do. And then if you use a trowel that's meant for tile, it's still not going to work too good because of how sticky that this mortar is. It just doesn't work too good. And you tend to not have enough of a joint. You need at least a good 1/2 inch joint under these caps so that when you point them with mortar, it's a substantial joint for the mortar to not break and crack and fall out as easy. So both of those other methods I've tried, I've done before. This is the method that I find works the best and is the most time efficient. Some people don't think it's going to be good simply because it doesn't maybe look correct to them, but when you put it to the test, when you actually apply it the way that I do, the installation goes good. And the number one thing is to seal up around all edges after you've set it. That mortar is designed so that you do not have to use a full thick bed of it. You can do channels like that. And here's what the joint under the cap should look like after you're done troweling it and sponging everything clean. This is how the Type S mortar should look, and if it does, it's going to keep that sealed for a very long time, preventing any water from getting underneath it and possibly popping it off in the future. So that's why when I say we do those channels of mortar, we set it down and then we seal the back of it and the front of it, it's really not a big deal. A lot of people like to get their mortar completely flat before they lay a tread down, but I find it not necessary, and that takes a lot longer. So put your even channels of mortar down, set your tread into place, and then you got to seal up the joint in the front and the back anyway. So why not just do it like that? And that Type S mortar being on the front is going to prevent any water that may run down the front of the tread. It's going to prevent it from going underneath the tread. So this entire top landing is going to be completely watertight and sealed up good. What do you think, man?
I think it looks ready for a step.
I like the 2022 blues you got on right now.
I like them too, dude. They're not bad shirts.
They're not.
I do like the gray ones, but
the logo pops more on the blues.
yeah.
I don't even have one freaking ready this morning, dude. Kamasi shirt on. I'm loud right now.
You are loud. Loud
I'm
and
screaming. But we're looking good over here. You saw how I pushed all that mortar into the geogrid and into the 3/4 stone that the blocks core filled with, and that's going to help tremendously. Once this cap goes on and all that mortar kind of squishes out and gets evenly distributed, that's going to all lock together, and that thing's never coming off, dude. With that much X32 on there, bro, and it's intertwined with the geogrid that's locked into the layer of blocks.
Unbelievable, dude.
Whoa.
Kidding me?
That's the definition of not going anywhere. And if you don't agree with me, I'm sure you're going to let me know in the comments. So either way, watch your fingers, Ben. That's the safety meeting. It's on camera. Okay. Push the back down a little. Alright. And let it sit for a minute. I'm gonna grab the level, but I think that thing's pretty damn good right now. That's level. That's really level, dude. Whoa. Eye in the back. Crack. Imagine.
Not with that hammer.
Just a tad over 1/8, which is okay. Sun is out. Now we're ready to do the inner landing. So we pretty much got to make 4 cuts just because of the odd size of this landing. Those are all going to be custom pieces, and I got to kind of figure out what pattern I want to do. I got a few pieces over here to work with. What do you think about the steps, bud? Mint. Look mint? Mint. Benny approval?
Yep.
Wow. It's going to be a good day.
Your approval?
Huh?
They don't have your approval?
Oh, my approval's there, but you're a hard critic, dude.
No.
Your standards are higher than the clouds.
Easy to please.
No, you're not.
Yep. How
come you never smile then?
I do.
Just kidding. He's like, how dare you? All I do is laugh. Alright, so I'm going to lay out this granite, this Blue Mist granite pattern stock, and try to figure out a pattern. Okay, we're all dry fit and the joints look good. So when it comes to pattern stock, which is what these pieces are called, they're all cut a 1/2 inch down on each side. So this would be an 18-inch by 18-inch piece, but it's 17.5, so that it accounts for that 1/2 inch gap for your pointing. And then the piece next to it, just because it's we had to kind of fit it into this custom landing, but it's 25, just a touch under 25 inches, and it's replicated in the back. Here's our mortar. It's about the consistency we want. Don't want it too wet but not too stiff. So that's just type S mortar, and there's going to be about 1.5 inch bed of it under those pieces of pattern stock, and then we'll use the same mortar for the joints. If you're still with me, I hope you're enjoying the video. I appreciate the support. This job right here was definitely a long time ago now. It was back in May. I'm just really far behind on the video editing of the jobs. Trust me, I got a lot of other jobs that we've already done and footage to just put together and make some videos of. This is going to be the last video of this project, and the next project that I have coming is a patio, a triangular patio that we built. And we also assembled a pre-made pergola to put into the corner of that patio. So that was a cool little job. Those will be the next few videos coming on my channel. Keep an eye out for those. But back to this job. So what we use for adhering this pattern stock down is type S mortar. Type S mortar is probably the best mortar for sealing things to keep water out. So we lay these pieces of pattern stock in mortar, type S mortar, and we also point the joints of these tiles with type S mortar, and that helps seal everything up nice. Something that's really important, in my opinion, is that when you do point the joints of pattern stock like this, you have to do it when the bottom mortar is still setting. If you let that mortar set and come back another time to point the joints, you're pretty much going to have two different beds of mortar, and there's going to be a space in between those two. And if any water or moisture gets in between that and it freezes in the winter, it will pop and crack the joints, and that's something you don't want. It can be a pain in the life of a project like this if you have to keep going back every couple years to fix joints, and that happens a lot when you don't point the joints at the same time that you're setting the pattern stock. So that's a big key takeaway if you're trying to do a project like this. Well, that's it for this project. It is complete. I want to know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I've used this stone veneer and granite cap combination on quite a few jobs, and I think it's a really good look. This was a pretty simple project for sure. It wasn't difficult or tough by any means, but a very good transformation and another happy customer and another job for the portfolio. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments about the stepping stones, the front stoop, whatever. I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. The customer does want another project done that we're going to be doing later in the year, which I think is pretty exciting. It's going to make this front yard even better, so stay tuned for that. One thing I did do off camera was the silicone along the back of the stoop, which I'm going to show you right here. And that's the bead of silicone that I put in to just seal up that joint. You don't want to do that with mortar because it'll crack with that board always kind of expanding and contracting. So always put silicone up against the house. And again, we have the Type S sealed up nice under the bottom of the cap. No water's gonna get under there or behind the veneer. So that's going to be it for this project, guys. This was a very fun one. The customers did actually okay another project that we were going to be doing later this year, and that's going to be replacing these timber walls. We're going to be replacing these timber walls with concrete block walls, and instead of it coming out to a point the way that it is, we're going to be cutting it back at more of a curve so that they can get in and out of their garage easier. But that's going to be a pretty good size job right there. This lower wall is about 3.5 feet. That one's about 3. And we're gonna change it. We're gonna bring one wall out to meet down here, and then we're gonna tear it back and have a wall curve and then meet with that. So that's gonna be a fun project. But again, as always guys, I appreciate your support watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've only seen this video and you want to see the previous ones from this project, check out the link in the description below to see the playlist of this project, and you can see all the videos. But you guys know the deal. Until the next one, God bless. Peace.